2/20/2025, government gangster slayer Kash Patel officially confirmed as the FBI director. In this video, I want to break some of that down and talk a little bit about freedom and the interconnectedness about this new age that we have coming in with the Bitcoin ledger and how this is kind of all going to comply. So, all right, my name is Gavin Mehl, coming at you right now. I mean, this is a monumental point in time in history. It feels like my whole life, and a lot of other people out there, as you watch this, is like been like on this path and quest for freedom every single day. Whether it's just like freedom, just trying to get by with a place to live, a place to eat, and put food on the table, and just to barely get by, or if it's freedom to just have unlimited access to wealth and resources and just working around the clock to try to solve problems and earn income, earn a living, and paying taxes, our whole entire life. Mine specifically, I've always been a taxpayer. So, these things are just this constant quest of trying to get freedom, wanting more and more freedom. And we're in a really significant point in time right now, because nowhere in my lifetime, nowhere in my parents' lifetime, have we ever seen a point in time, I think, where we're actually seeing radical change in the federal government here in America. And this guy, Kash Patel, he was kind of came out of nowhere in a way. But totally a New Yorker, American-born dude, 100% through and through. Parents were immigrants, first generation. But he got here and, he went into school, became an attorney. He was one of those free attorneys where they basically represent people for, it's a pro bono attorney. It's not pro bono, but it's the attorney where you're charged with a crime and you have a right to a free attorney. Okay. That's what he was doing for a number of years. So he represented a lot of cases like that. And so he saw a lot of criminal cases, went to a lot of jury trials, continued on with his work. I don't know if he worked in private practice or not, but, he's got a lot of experience in prosecution as well, and defense. And so he started working in the first Trump administration, and he looked like he got into like some sort of intelligence operation as well. The guy's just got lots of knowledge on FISA warrants, these arguable warrants. Anyways, now we're at this point in time where he's talked about releasing and basically taking the FBI building and shutting it down, turning it into a museum for the deep state. And this deep state is our enemy. It's the enemy of freedom. It's the enemy of all of us. Everybody's watching this channel. We can all unite. We all have enemy. It's called the deep state because we want openness. We want transparency. We want accountability. That's what the deep state is not. The deep state is private, secret, discreet, and not accountable. That's really what they are. So he wrote this book called Government Gangsters, and he called out a bunch of people which he believes are in the deep state. A lot of those people have their security clearances revoked recently. And now that he's confirmed, I think the first thing he said he wanted to do on his agenda was shut down that FBI building and make it a museum for the deep state. Next, he's going to do declassification. What the heck actually happened in JFK? What happened on 9/11? These are important historical events that we should know about. I want to know what actually happened. Get the information over to Congress. Let them investigate. What happened with Martin Luther King, dude? Was that guy actually, what happened with Robert F. Kennedy? All this stuff needs to come out. It's with the USAID, showing now to be a giant money laundering operation that we've been paying into. I'm pissed. I paid so much money to them and they just squandered it. Not only squandered it, they used it against me. They used it against me to go out and do these things like running on a shrimp running on a treadmill. A shrimp is running on a treadmill in a foreign country and that's what they call it. That's where the tax dollars had gone. So, it's just It's treason, dude. It's treason. It's not laughable. It is treason because it's given to our enemies, foreign and domestic, and used against us. And so that's why this is a great time to be alive, because Kash is coming in with a strong iron fist of vengeance and due process to everybody, but true vengeance, because, this is the time where we're going to see, I think, true vengeance and retribution, not just justice, but retribution, because people need to be made whole. When we sweated and suffered for years and years, our whole lives, we just absolutely slaved away and counted every single dollar that we earned and our taxes, filed our taxes on time. We're accountable, living in fear. Maybe the government's going to come get me if I don't file my taxes on time. If I don't pay my taxes, I'm going to get, living in this constant fear of arrest or prosecution or audits. Then finding out now, because it's now come out, USAID, that money was just being squandered to our enemies, foreign and domestic. That's treason. We need justice, and we need retribution. We need accountability for those people who did that in the deep state. And that's what Kash Patel has promised in his book, and he's promised in his in his podcasts. And I think he's going to do it. I don't think there's anything to hold back, nothing to hide. This guy is a true blue patriot, man. So, but the real exciting part here is that we have this opportunity to bring in accountability, okay, and transparency in a new digital age. I watched the Michael Saylor interview today at CPAC 2025 down there in Florida, at least part of it. And he's talking about the old boomer world, the system of the boomer world, where we're bringing this financial system and it's becoming on BTC, and BTC is going to give people freedom and more wealth, over time, by appreciating in an asset like it's done. And it's pretty cool. It's pretty exciting. It's not really that exciting, because what really excites me are what Ty from Project Babbage talked about in my show yesterday that's coming out real soon. And that is dude, actually truly making a system where people can transact peer-to-peer. Cutting out the middleman, cutting out that boomer system, that financial system that Michael Saylor's holding on to so tightly with Lightning Network. Cutting those guys out, dude. Getting rid of them. We don't need them. Making a system to where we transact, the people go peer-to-peer. So we go way past all this old boomer world where we got to rely on Lightning Network or Visa and MasterCard or some middleman to hold our funds in an exchange before we can use them. They still might confiscate them. They might charge us a huge amount of fees. Or we can go into this entirely new world and transact peer-to-peer on-chain and have a ledger that is accountable to everyone and all transparent. Not transparent where every single thing we do with our name and our social security number. I'm just talking about a receipt. We get a receipt. That's what the blockchain is. It's just a public receipt to show all the transactions that we made. So we have accountability. I want a receipt for all the transactions I made. Don't you? And I think we should have a transaction, for things. And I'm sure there's other ways to do things if you don't like that. But this giant ledger is so important for the government, dude, because the government is the one that screwed everybody in the past, or the deep state. Okay. The government overall is probably pretty good, as we can see, mostly good people in the government, It's that deep state, which is the small percentage in the shadows that weren't transparent and they weren't open and honest, and they worked behind the scenes to give money to our enemies, foreign and domestic, and sabotage all our plans against our freedom, dude. And so that's why this new ledger is so important to bring forward, to get into the consciousness of the people when they're bringing in these new stablecoin bills. Right now, it's a Stablecoin Act 2025. It's coming. Brian Doherty's been writing about this, and it's in Congress now. They got bills coming forward, like 2 or 3 stablecoin bills, and they're really important. They're excited. I hope they pass. One of them, I think some of them. Hope something passes that makes sense. But after that, then it's going to go into talking about Bitcoin. That's going to come later. When they start talking about Bitcoin, first of all, they got to define what Bitcoin means. I did a post on X. I got like 100 different responses about what Bitcoin meant. So many different things. But generally, people said, well, go back and read what the white paper said. What did Satoshi call Bitcoin? Peer-to-peer electronic cash. That's the most general, original definition. But we don't use it for that anymore. For the most part, like BTC is not used that way. So first of all, defining it. Then once it's defined, then we can start a process for how it can be used and utilized in the new world and making things more accountable. Now, we got to have a way to do that, and make it more transparent, make it frictionless, peer-to-peer, where we have our own peer-to-peer system. And we don't have to go into some CBDCs relying on the government and FedNow and these places to operate, dude. Like that's not freedom. That's the old world. We need peer-to-peer. And BTC and Michael Saylor and that entire conference, that's just not offering peer-to-peer. You don't hear them talking about that. That's not important to them. Even though that's the very first sentence of the white paper. That's not important to them because it cuts them out. But we need to have a system that operates that way. And I think that's what Project Babbage is helping to contribute to with their hackathon they're going to be doing in coming up in April. And a couple of other things. I got a couple shows coming up with Senti, Ben. That's going to be on Wednesday of next week, X. Super important to talk to Ben because he's got a stablecoin that's already operating right now on the layer 0, Bitcoin. And that stablecoin is operating really well. I mean, I got it. I purchased it. It seems to work well. I don't know what exchanges it's on, but it's something that's working right now. And he's got basically a merchant company where he's offering these merchant accounts or merchant provider solutions to people and companies in Switzerland. And they have the stablecoin so that's an important show. I'm going to do that on Wednesday. And then I've got on Friday, it's going to be Lament. Daniel, Jeremy Street, the Australian. Daniel is in Melbourne. Jeremy Street's in London. They're brothers. And they started the content creator platform on Bitcoin, on the layer 0, original Bitcoin ledger. And it's all peer-to-peer. It's designed with smart contracts and payouts and instant payouts to create it from creator to fan, peer-to-peer. So when you want to buy a piece of content from your favorite creator, you want to buy a picture, you send your favorite creator 25 cents. Boom. It automatically goes to them with no middleman, and it's instantly paid out to them, peer-to-peer. Small, instant, casual payments, micropayments. It's a beautiful, incredible system, and it's that's going to be on Friday. They're going to be talking with Ben as well about how to, potentially work with Senti. But then after that, another show is going to happen with Babbage the following week. Learning more about Babbage, doing a live space with those guys. Next week, I got on, I think it's on Tuesday. I have Dimitri with TreeChat. And these guys are freaking awesome, man. Dimitri is... he's doing basically a system that is publishing, everything's on chain it's like a social network blog system. It's going to be great. We'll learn more about that. It's going to be an in-person interview. Another one I have potentially happening is the guy who went to the World Economic Forum and spoke there. His name is, it's a Swiss name. Asgar. And Cress, she introduced me to him. She made a connection. I sent him an email. She said, talk to Gavin, do a show with him. Let's make it happen. So that's potentially coming up if he responds and he wants to do it. I want to hear about what happened at that event and what's on his mind. He's also either the head guy or one of the main people with Terano, like rolling out Terano to the world, which is this infinitely scalable blockchain solution, doing like up to 1 million transactions a second. So that's a super important show that we need to get done. That's potentially coming as well. So yeah, hackathon. Be sure to check the hackathon, bsvhackathon.com with Ty. That's going to be a good one. that he's doing scholarships on that for people who can't afford to travel there, paid for hotel, paying for room and board, flights. If you qualify, suppose you go to the website, you fill some paperwork out, and if you pass a test as a developer, if you're a smart developer, you can potentially qualify for that. So check that out for scholarships. And then I think he's offering up to $50,000 in prizes for the hackathon as well. So, but ultimately, dude, this is an important time in history with Cash coming in right now, because now's our time to get retribution. We find a way forward for all these people in the deep state to be taken and put away for good, so this never happens again. And then we put everything on chain, not in a boomer system with BTC where we all get rich through the price going up. I hope the price goes up for everybody, and I do. But I'm talking about true long-term accountability, which is done through the micro system transaction of peer-to-peer on the original Bitcoin chain, on the layer 0 blockchain, BSV blockchain, which is the original Bitcoin blockchain, layer 0. That's how it's all got to be done. It's the only way forward. It's the only legal way forward that I know of. I mean, I've gone through all the patents. That's how I ran into this thing, was through this patent fortress. You know, I started stumbling upon, and I said, man, just patent after patent after patent after patent. And I'm thinking, like, everything leads to N-chain. What's N-chain? Who's this? Who's this guy, Craig? Oh my gosh, Craig Wright is getting sued. I saw he's getting sued in Florida. So I started to really find out about this. I said, what's happening in this Florida case? Oh, they're suing him for all the Satoshi coins? I watched that. That all went down. That got confirmed last year on appeal, where he was the sole owner and rightful owner to all those original Satoshi coins. And the identity of Satoshi Nakamoto in law remains a mystery. In the law, officially, it remains a mystery. Maybe it's just the way it is. That's how it is. Looks like that's how it's always going to be. It's going to remain a mystery forever. In the law. Okay. But in the minds of the people, maybe it'll be different. But yeah, that's exciting time. So it's time for some freaking real change. Much love and support to Kash Patel. Everybody for subscribing, liking these videos, making comments, share, and look forward to these other shows coming up. They're going to be freaking awesome, dude. So I will see you at the top. This is Gavin. Later.